should we talk AR and AP for a minute? Since receiving generates AP, how do we reconcile the receipt with the vendor invoice? What do we do if we prepaid something to a vendor and need to reconcile? What about landed cost and shipping charges and maybe use tax if we're charged tax, which we shouldn't because we're manufacturers probably or wholesale distributors. Tell us a little bit the accounting side of fulfilling purchase orders.
Yeah, look, I'll mention on the purchase order object the prepay, and so
Awesome.
that
You have a
that
special
creates
feature just for that. That's
for that. So
awesome.
it
Yeah.
streamlines that all the way through for vendor prepayments or credit card purchases, etc.
And
So
I'll speak to a little bit on the history of Cetec. And something you told me earlier is, you guys have been around since 1970, have been building software since 1970, which is impressive. And I think you built a software in 1970, you built another one in 1996, and Cetec itself, this particular software, is about 10 years old. It was built in 2014, which kind of missed the era where people had terms, net 30, net 60, net 90, heaven forbid. Now we live in a world where we prepay, So it's cool to see that your software is up to date with that type of culture. We're now in the prepay world.
You prepay or you have a large customer that bullies you into net 90.
Right? Which is gratefully happening less and less. I guess
Yeah.
if your customer is Walmart, then that might be a different story. But yeah, huge customer. But cool.
Yeah, and that also exists, on the sales order side as well, where you can collect the prepay and drive the customer liability. So yeah, the AP process in Cetec, we call a vendor invoice a voucher. So we add a voucher, collect the vendor invoice number, the invoice date, pay by date, and then we'll attach that to our purchase order or PO line. So you might be paying services. We ordered repair on this piece of equipment. So you might have non-inventory PO lines, and then you have material receipts. So Cetec will look first, have you actually physically received this item? And we'll attach it to the voucher. And that moves the money from an accrued liabilities account, an accrual account, into a true accounts payable. And then you add things like a freight cost or tax, etc. And that vendor might add on top of that. What Cetec is looking for is a three-way match. So Cetec is trying to match the PO amount to the receipt amount to the vendor requested amount. And if those three match, then it will auto approve. And a lot of smaller companies aren't quite doing the auto approve. There's kind of a wink. Yeah, we do this. It's just a physical. We have one AP person who enters them all. So a lot of scenarios people bypass that. Otherwise, it goes into a on hold or needs review stage until somebody can take a look and approve that voucher to pay.
Yeah, so I'm kind of interested to see the balance sheet now since we received and we're creating AP and assets and we're paying. That's all on the balance sheet. Let's take a look at that. Awesome. So here's the balance sheet. What can you show us here, Scott?
Excellent. Well, first, it's real time. It's exportable into Excel. You can report by cost center or profit center, which is typically more applicable to a P&L, right? But it's a standard. You can measure it against the budget. Also, again, typically a P&L feature. And then I think what's significant maybe here is location. So Cetec, every transaction in Cetec is tracked to a warehouse location. So that means you can model your company on Cetec with multiple entities under different locations. So then you can have separate financials just by de facto of having a sales order at company 1 versus company 2. So then you have one instance where users might be using inventory or entering sales orders for different companies, but you can have a consolidated financial, or you can break that out by location.
And by location, you mean a building with an address, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And you mentioned different entities, and it also sounded like you were saying it could also be all one entity, but different buildings. And so you could have a balance sheet for each separate building. Is what it sounds like you're saying. That's
correct.
Yeah. A lot of people want that. So when we receive, the assets go in, the payables go in, and when we pay the vendor, we're reducing out of the bank account. What about the P&L? Let's take a look at the P&L.
So we'll look at monthly back to maybe December and show year-to-date sales, percent of sales. Again, all fairly standard P&L reports. Again, measure it to a budget, export or generate a PDF, break it out, break each account out by cost centers. And again, real time. So as you invoice or as you ship, you're recognizing revenue, driving AR, posting to your cost of sales accounts. Real time at the moment. And then each of these, this will take me back to actual ledger entries for that date. And then those ledger entries link back to the source objects, to the subledger, so that now I can reconcile my invoice list for January against my P&L for January and ensure that my revenue is accurate, my AR is accurate.
Now, users have the option to either use QuickBooks or Cetec. Do you integrate with both QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop, or just QuickBooks Online?
We just integrate to QuickBooks Online.
Okay. And so they're not using QuickBooks. What does that look like in Cetec?
So that looks like an account reconcile. So we have an account reconcile object that allows you to create, and this works for a cash account or for a credit card statement, where you can, for a statement date, create an actual reconcile that then allows you to check off the checks, payments in and out. You can import or upload a bank statement, and Cetec will auto check these based on the amount from the bank statement. So then you'll end up with a cleared balance. What's the difference? And this won't touch the ledger. It won't change anything in the chart of account or in the ledger, but it will allow you to reconcile that cash account to the bank statement or to your credit card statement.
So thanks for showing us the balance sheet and the P&L and the bank reconciliation tools. I'm sure there's more tools to see from an accounting perspective. Definitely reach out to myself or Cetec if you want to see more of those tools in that area. Okay, so if you're still watching this, you're either an operations geek or you're just letting it run in the background, or this was super helpful and you were glued to the screen the whole way. That's what we do here at Brandow Consulting, is we help you decide what software is right for you. So don't hesitate to reach out. And please, please, please react to this video. That tells YouTube that people like this video, or if it was beneficial. Any type of reaction, YouTube says, oh, we'll let other people know about this video. So the commenting, please comment, subscribe, whatever kind of reaction you can come up with, react to this video. And we greatly appreciate it. Click the link below, come to our website, fill out a contact form. I'm Lance, inventory software expert since 2006, and we have a lot of other videos like this for other software programs as well.